Hi, this is Jody Shirami. Welcome to my weekly astrology report. This is astropod_cast. How's everyone doing this week? It is a busy week. There's so much going on, just like last week. There's so many configurations. Hi, welcome to my weekly astrology report. So starting tomorrow on Saturday, the Scorpio moon will be quincunxing Aries Chiron. Chiron's in Aries, and they're going to be quincunxing, which is a little tiny square at 26 degrees and 45 minutes, time at 3:31 a.m. So we start off really Saturday morning early in a kind of configuration. We could wake up that morning a little bit, have a headache possibly, right? And then the Scorpion moon is going to square, again, another box, but a little bit of a bigger box, Mars in Libra at 15 degrees, and it's going to be happening at about 7:04 a.m. So yeah, we're really going to wake up with maybe some stuff happening. Maybe our dreams as we're waking up is a little bit crazy, and we're having all these thoughts, these feelings. So take it easy Saturday morning and maybe Friday night. Also be careful with that Scorpion moon as you're going out on Friday night, August 29th. So this weekly report is for August 29th, the very last days of August, until Monday the 1st. This is a report until September 5th. So this is a weekly report for August 29th through September 5th. And there are a lot of configurations just like last week. We are dealing with a lot of boxes, squares, things that are going to drive us crazy. And then the moon will be entering Sagittarius later on that morning, at about 10 a.m. that morning. Okay, so we really are going through some stuff on Saturday morning. So take it easy. Emotionally, you're going to be everywhere. 1 minute, you're going to be deep into this mystery. And then you're going to have these squares. And then you're going to wake up to Sagittarius moon later on in the day, feeling more energetic and wanting to go and explore later on Saturday as the weekend starts to really begin. So the Sagittarius moon starts to have aspects right away. It's going to trine Saturn in Aries, and it's going to be at 0 degrees at 10:18 a.m. It's going to be doing this. And then the Sagittarius moon will be trining Neptune in Aries at 1 degrees and 24 seconds at 12:53 a.m. PM. Now we're moving into the afternoon. And then the Sag moon will oppose Uranus in Gemini at 1 degrees and 27 minutes, time 12:59 p.m. So the moon moves quickly. And so then again, then the moon, the Sagittarius moon, is going to sextile Pluto in Aquarius at 1 degrees and 48 minutes at 1:42 p.m. And then the moon is going to trine Venus in Leo at 0 degrees and 31 minutes. And then the Sagittarius moon trines Leo and Venus at 6 degrees and 31 minutes at 11:12 p.m. later on that night. So Saturday is really full of activity, especially emotionally with the Sagittarius moon here, just exploring everything. Every possibility he can, he's exploring it all. And then on Sunday, Mercury, which is still in Leo, will be trining Chiron, who's in Aries, at 26 degrees and 43 minutes around 3:44 p.m. that afternoon on Sunday. And that's a nice one. Our thoughts will be more towards self-healing, speaking kindly to ourselves and maybe kindly to other people too, starting a trend of bringing optimism to the world. And then the Sagittarius moon sextiles Libra, Mars in Libra at 15 degrees and 51 minutes at 5:52 p.m. So again, the moon is zipping around. And then Venus, who's in Leo, is going to trine Eris, Mars' sister Eris, and Chiron at 11:12 p.m. So Sunday starts off a little bit hungover from the previous day's squares and our emotional confusion. And then Sunday gives us a little bit of a healing, self-healing with Chiron here. And then Venus having that nice meet up to Chiron also, which is really going to make us happy and really learn how to love ourselves and speak to ourselves in a loving manner. On Monday, Saturn begins its retrograde back to Pisces at 4:06 a.m. when we're all sleeping. So again, another dream pattern could occur here with Saturn in our dream world. And then the Sagittarius moon is going to trine Chiron in Aries at 26 degrees and 42 minutes at 3:16 p.m. So again, the moon is going to bring us some more self-healing. And then the Sagittarius moon will trine Mercury in Leo, 27 degrees and 53 minutes at 7:36 p.m. And then the Sagittarius moon will square Saturn in Pisces, now that Saturn's moved back into Pisces just now, at 29 degrees and 57 minutes at 9:44 p.m. And then the moon shifts into Capricorn at 9:44 p.m. And that's all on Monday. And the moon is the one that's going to be making these aspects of the outer planets as we spoke about last week, because the moon is the fastest thing around the earth, right? So we're having all these emotional up, down, especially as it meets up with every outer planet that's in that formation at the top of the kite, right? Uranus and Gemini. Saturn is now back into Pisces, but Neptune is very close at 0 degrees of Aries, and then Pluto is in Aquarius at about 1 degrees. So 2 to 0 degrees is where Aquarius is, and they're all retrograde, and they're all, now that Saturn has entered back into Pisces, it begins to trek back. Again, Pluto will not be leaving Aquarius again, but Neptune will be following in October, and then Uranus will be following also. So we are really deep into this time period of releasing, because again, we've just entered Virgo season with that full new moon. We are really into releasing. And so all these planets are helping us with the moon's emotional quickness and wisdom. We are being guided to see how quickly things can move on once you release what no longer need that's holding you down. Now on the 2nd, the Capricorn moon begins its movement around again, because the moon is so quick. The moon is in Capricorn. It's going to square Neptune in Aries at 1 degrees and 20 minutes at 12:29 a.m. As soon as the moon enters Capricorn, it has an immediate square. And then it's going to quincunx, which is that little box again, Uranus and Gemini, at also at 1 degrees and 26 minutes, 6 minutes later at 12:34 a.m. So you can see how it literally translates to 5 to 6 minutes later, right? And then Mercury in Leo is going to quincunx Saturn in Pisces at 29 degrees and 55 minutes. Some stuff's happening on Sunday. And then Mercury is going to enter Virgo at 9:22 a.m. Now, Mercury has entered its exalted sign of Virgo, where it is super able to function here at 9:23 p.m. And as that's occurring now, Capricorn moon will be quincunxing Venus in Leo, 9 degrees and 47 minutes at 4:39 p.m. And then the Virgo sun is going to trine the Capricorn moon at 10 degrees and 42 minutes at 6:23 p.m. And that all occurs on Tuesday the 2nd. Now Mercury is shifting to its home sign where it is now joining the energy of that new moon that we just had last week. So, wow. Virgo season is going to be big because the South Node is there. All these planets will be meeting up with the South Node as they move on, and we will talk about that as we go on. And then, of course, Saturn is now back in Pisces, where the North Node is. And the North Node, I believe, is at 26 degrees thereabout. So the North Node's in Pisces, and that's another thing that is karmic. So there's a lot going on in terms of karmic energy. And then on the 3rd, Mercury in Virgo is going to square Uranus in Gemini at 1 degree and 28 minutes around 3:40 a.m. And that's going into Wednesday morning at 3:40 a.m. So this is again a very uh, this is a big square in terms of Uranus is the highest octave of Mercury, but Mercury is exalted in Virgo. And so we have some serious thinking to do here where we're either going to release old critical ways of thinking and viewing things and communicating and lean into the Uranus in Gemini, where we are learning to communicate in a different way. And Uranus again is a shock jock. It can do unexpected things. So on this day, be careful in terms of Mercury again rules communication, and so does Gemini, and Virgo does too. But Virgo is a practical earth sign that's mutable, and Gemini is a mutable air sign. So the fact that they're both mutable means that there can be confusion. People could start to say things and do things that don't make sense. And so we can see that happening already in the world with another mass shooting of children. And the person who did it was also a child, pretty much, dealing with his own life where what he thought he could do and other people could do, he couldn't. And this was in Minneapolis. And there's been a lot of things happening up in Minneapolis these past years. So it's kind of big growth occurring with a lot of new um, immigrants coming there. And so there's a lot of things changing. It's kind of representative of what's going on in the world, but just on a micro scale, not a macro. And if you look at the macro scale, you can start seeing all of this, where they want to close their borders, no more tourists. They don't want people to come visit their land anymore, so everybody's becoming isolated due to fear. And again, Saturn moving back into Neptune. Saturn again moving back into Pisces is going to bring up all these insecurities, and it's going to get blurred, and confusing energy is going to come through that. And that's what we see, how people are confused and they don't know which way to turn because there's not a lot of places to turn during this time. And speaking of that energy, Mercury in Virgo is going to quincunx Pluto in Aquarius at 1 degree and 44 minutes around 7:05 a.m. on the 3rd. And then the Capricorn moon is going to square Mars in Libra at 17 degrees and 31 minutes around 7:29 a.m. And then the Capricorn moon will then oppose Jupiter in Cancer at 18 degrees 19 minutes at 8:50 a.m. So here we're speaking about the same type of energy with Mercury, our thoughts, the things we say, the things that work like trains and airplanes, because again, Pluto's in Aquarius, and Aquarius rules over airplanes and things like that. These are the things that could be having some trouble this day. And so we can see that already happening. And like the other day, the sandstorm in Phoenix really shut down the airport for at least an hour. And so these are the things that could be occurring at this time with Pluto in Aquarius. And, you know, the Capricorn moon doing all these things, squares and opposing. Again, emotionally, we're going to have to learn to get our emotions aligned with Mars in Libra. And our emotions need to align with Jupiter in Cancer, and how we can give more without taking away from ourselves. And that's a big balance. Then the Capricorn moon continues and sextiles the true north node in Pisces at 18 degrees and 22 minutes around 8:55 a.m. Then Jupiter in Cancer is going to trine the true node again in Pisces at 18 degrees and 22 minutes at around 2:36 p.m. So the North Node is getting a lot of action here, right? And then we get into the 4th on Thursday, and the Capricorn moon again is here. Is going to square Chiron in Aries at 26 degrees and 38 minutes at 12:19 a.m. So there's some good energy there. It starts off with a nice sextile to the North Node, and then Jupiter also has a nice trine. So the North Node again is karmic energy. The North Node, we're supposed to lean into the Pisces energy, not the delusional part of the Pisces energy, but the part where we want to be selfless and care for others in a nurturing way in order to help them to raise themselves above whatever it is they're trying to overcome, whether it's poverty, addiction, abuse, depression. These are all the things that Pisces wants to help you with. But again, Pisces can be a little bit too much. So here with the Jupiter and Cancer meeting up with Pisces, here we can really have some delusional times. Unless we use that energy to volunteer or help others in some way or write. It's great for artists. It's a great time to be very progressive in what you're doing, and very genius type of energy here around these degrees. And then on the 4th, the Capricorn moon is going to square Chiron. And that happens at 26 degrees and 38 minutes at 12:19 a.m. So as we head into the 4th, the moon is again going to be up against Chiron and trying to self-heal. And it's getting at the end degrees, so Chiron's getting close to moving out of here in Aries. It's been here for almost 7 years. So we are dealing again with a lot of self-love, self-healing. And this is what this time period is about, especially with Neptune and Pisces involved, and Neptune preparing to go back into Pisces again to dissolve and get rid of things in such a way that it's easier for us to release. And so that is the power of Neptune to help you do that. The Capricorn moon was on its way out, and now it's in Aquarius at 6:32 a.m. on September 4th. So now the Aquarius moon will be moving around with our emotions, but here our emotions again will be a little bit more detached, so we can handle it a little bit better. We might be thinking things through too much. We might be questioning our emotions here, but this is what happens. So Aquarius moon is going to sextile Neptune in Aries at 1 degrees and 16 minutes around 8:51 a.m. And then the Aquarius moon is going to trine Uranus Gemini at 1 degrees 28 minutes around 9:12 a.m. So the Aquarius moon is moving around quite quickly and having some of these nice little trines, which is on sextiles, which are easy giving energy. So the moon here on the 4th is going to go from being a little bit sensitive as a Capricorn. Now one shows emotion to Aquarius moon saying, it doesn't matter. It doesn't last. Things that just happen. They just happen. They go that way, right? But then the Aquarius moon is going to conjunct Pluto in Aquarius at 1 degrees and 43 minutes around 9:40 a.m. So there's a lot happening on the 4th in the morning. Again, be calm that morning. Maybe not have so much coffee. Maybe try to relax if you can. Do some meditation before you head out the door. And try to really breathe in and breathe out, that 10-second thing. So really, really do that 10 times. Only takes 10 seconds. Oh, Mars in Libra is going to quincunx the true north node in Pisces at 18 degrees and 21 minutes at 1:52 p.m. Woo! Another box there that our Mars has to deal with against the north node, because again, this is this energy that needs to get out. And so these are both, one's an air sign, Libra, Mars is there. And then the other one is a watery true north node in Pisces. So really we want our emotions to match up with our energy. And that is what the universe is wanting us to become aligned. Again, we talked about this. What we say, what we do, what we think, what we see, what we say, all this has to align actions with words, with your heart, with your thoughts, with your soul. So we're really trying to do this because we live in a society that's really full of gray areas. And so these gray areas are great, but too much gray area, then there's no structure for humans, for your children, and it gets confusing and things can really get out of hand when that happens. And then the Aquarian moon is going to quincunx Mercury in Virgo at 4 degrees and 15 minutes around 2:17 p.m. And then Mars Libra is going to square the Jupiter in Cancer at 18 degrees and 36 minutes around 10:58 p.m. So as we head into the night, there's still all these things happening. A lot of energy that needs to be expended is really just. And then we head into Friday the 5th, and the Aquarius moon is going to go opposite. Aquarius moon is going to go opposite of Leo, Venus. Venus in Leo, 12 degrees and 52 minutes at about 5:49 a.m. And that's on the 5th, next Friday. So again, you're going to wake up with a little bit of, what is this energy? Why is my moon feeling something in this Venus Leo area? What is Venus in Leo trying to tell my Aquarius moon? Love. Love is what matters. You still have to have some emotions, right? Or you won't be happy. And for Leo, learn to love others, not just yourself. And you want to be seen here with Venus in Leo. Leos want to be seen and heard. But you have to kind of lean into Aquarius side, especially the moon here. You're going to be learning how to not be so dramatic all the time and be able to say things so that people trust it's not just about you and your ego, because that can happen a lot with Leos. And then the Virgo sun will quincunx the moon in Aquarius at 13 degrees and 7 minutes around 6:16 a.m. And then the moon will quincunx Jupiter in Cancer at 18 degrees and 44 minutes around 4:13 p.m. So Friday is going to again be another emotional roller coaster ride, and we're not going to get out of this for a long time. So I hope we've learned how to remain calm, doing little things, breathing, which we can do again. Let's do the 10-second breath work that we started maybe about 3 or 2 years ago we started this, and now it seems like it's really needed. I know there's a lot of stuff happening, and sometimes you can't really catch a breath. It happens so much, like sometimes you'll sometimes you'll think of something and then it turns into 5 thoughts that you have to kind of figure out which one should you pursue. And that's very normal right now with all the motions happening, and then with 3i Atlas coming into our electromagnetic field that we're in due to us being in the sun's electromagnetic field. It has now entered into our area where we follow the sun in that field. There's a lot of new things happening, so let's take some deep breaths. So we're going to take 4 seconds in. We're going to hold it for 2 seconds, then we'll let it out in 4. So if you can do this for yourself just while you're sitting in traffic, while you're waiting for your water to boil, waiting for your laundry to get done, waiting for the school bus, and I would do this, and then you can do it as many times as you want until you feel yourself relaxing. So here we go. We're going to go 4 counts in. Hold for 2. Release for 4. Again. So do that for yourself every day. If you feel overwhelmed, because I do occasionally feel overwhelmed, I have to go sit by myself for a little bit. There's so much information flying around in the universe, literally, that we could get lost and lose sight of why we're here. And we're here to coexist on Earth with each other and raise our species up every generation, whatever that means for you. So these are the things I think about to raise our frequency up higher on this earth. And when you do that, you have a purpose. You feel like you have a purpose. And really, all humans want our purpose and want to be accepted and loved. So again, it all goes back to love. Love, love, love. So thank you for being here this week. Thank you to my spiritual children this week, especially for being there and talking and wanting to call and have fun doing what you're doing. Really enjoy yourselves. And I appreciate all of you. And I will not be here next week. I will be on vacation, and I will return the following week, which will be, I believe, the 12th. Is that right? Let's see. Yes, I believe it's going to be September 12th. I will be back on that day. And I will start releasing my podcast at around 7 p.m. on my Twitter page, and then following that up on my Spotify page, and then following that up on my YouTube page, and then following that up on my Instagram page. Please, if you haven't yet, and if you have, thank you. Subscribe and like and comment. I really appreciate all the people that have. Thank you so much. I will be here in 2 more weeks. Thank you. Take care. Until then.